I don't know about you, but for the last few years, it's been so difficult to look at that World Trade Center site. It just brings back so many painful memories, all the people that we lost. But now there's so much hope going on at that site. So we want to return you to ground zero. You're about to see the World Trade Center site like you've never seen it before. Unparalleled, exclusive access. I put on a hard hat and my work boots to show you areas of the World Trade Center site. Plus, you'll get a first ever look at video that shows what it will look like when it's all said and done. Please take a look. We are 41 stories above the most famous construction site on the planet. Now, by the looks of things, it seems like the rebuilding of Ground Zero isn't moving very quickly. But we're going to take you to a place you've never seen before, deep under Ground Zero, where construction is roaring forward. Before the tour, let's get our bearings. The top of the screen is north. Here's West Street. The Hudson River's further west. This is VC Street. Here's Church and Liberty. Inside those four streets is the former site of the World Trade Center. This area is what we know as Ground Zero. The only thing being built here are two memorial fountains and the September 11 Memorial Park. Just north of the Memorial Park, right here, is One World Trade Center. This is where the transportation hub will be. There will also be four other structures built around the park, including sites for potential towers 2, 3, and 4, and a performing arts center. All right, we're all ready. We got the hard hat, the vest, the construction boots. We're ready for our VIP exclusive tour with the Executive Director of the Port Authority, Chris Ward.
We're now walking past the northern fountain, the pool, the void of the original One World Trade Center. This is probably the most intense and complex public works project being built anywhere in the United States right now.
A lot of people were frustrated that it didn't move quickly enough.
Yeah.
How did you solve that problem?
We needed to break it down and turn it into a construction project, and that's what we did. We said, what's the most important thing we have to build? We have to build a memorial. And once we said that and made it clear that that gets built first, a lot of the debate and a lot of the sense of frustration or delay went away.
When you're walking around the World Trade Center site, you're immediately struck by how massive it really is. The view from Skyfox gives you a better idea of the scale and shows you just how big these memorial fountains are. They're built in the exact spots where the North and South Towers once stood. We're standing at the top of the Northern Memorial Fountain.
Each one of these memorial pools will be the largest man-made fountain in the United States, and we'll have two of them. It just gives you some sense of the breadth. Imagine circulating 800,000 gallons of water going over this weir, dropping down a flat surface and then dropping down to be recirculated from there. This will be a parapet with the names of all that were lost on that terrible day.
Now we're heading down a construction lift, going into the center of the Memorial Fountain, an area that will eventually have water flowing right through it.
Here we are. It's the footprint of the original One World Trade. This is all specially cut granite, mined for just this very purpose.
How important is this particular area to the entire project?
It is the center. I mean, this is really the sacred center of the downtown rebuilding effort. Getting the Memorial Plaza, the fountains, the names, the waterfalls, all in place by the 10-year anniversary was really been the driving force which has brought us to this point, because this has to be what the world first sees when it thinks about town. Yes, we should build beautiful office towers. Yes, we should have a real estate industry is booming. But what we really owe it to everybody is to restore that sense of New York through the memorial.
Chris promises this site will be transformed into one of the most beautiful parks the city has ever seen. And to help you picture it, we have an exclusive never-before broadcast animation. It's time-lapse of the World Trade Center site, looking into the future, with the gorgeous 8-acre memorial park springing to life at its center. The memorial fountains are surrounded by 604 trees. It's even more beautiful at night.
We're literally standing now below grade. This will all be filled with dirt where the trees will be planted.
The first specially engineered dirt has already started arriving at the site. It looks like it's pebbled.
Yeah, it's very light. It allows a lot of water to be absorbed, but it's got, it literally has worm excrement. Worm excrement in there as a nutrient to make sure these trees all survive.
There's also a high-tech watering system already in place and a lot more dirt on the way. Some trees will be planted by this September for the 9th anniversary. This is One World Trade, formerly called the Freedom Tower, located just north of the fountains. It's now more than 25 stories high, and it gets taller every day. The building will rise to 1,776 feet. Along with a complex construction plan, there's also a serious security plan.
Are there things that you're not telling me because you don't want to tell me because you don't want to let the terrorists know?
Yes. There's a security plan, literally, which is embedded in everything that you see around you. And a lot of it is confidential. A lot of it is part of a plan that Ray Kelly and his team have worked with us. They've been leading it. We've been working together so that it's there, but it doesn't say it's there to the public.
This is One World Trade now, and you can see it being built in the time-lapse animation. It will require 1 million square feet of glass, and when it's finished in 3 years, it will be the tallest building in New York City. On the surface of the World Trade site, you can see the cranes and manpower working to make that vision a reality. But what you can't see is what's going on deep underneath the site, something you're about to see for the first time ever. Chris and I are in a construction lift, headed 7 stories below ground into what will be the National September 11 Memorial Museum.
This is as low as you can get. We're at the floor of the museum. It gives you some sense of the size.
The space is enormous and will span 13 acres.
We're now literally walking underneath the southern pool. It's above us, so we are in the space where the second tower stood.
So you can get a sense of where we are. This is the Southern Memorial Fountain from above. We are directly below it, underground.
So when people are down here, they're going to be looking up and realize that's the foundation of the second tower, the box of the south pool. So this is what people haven't seen.
This is where the survivor staircase is going to stay?
Yes, this is its permanent location. It had to have been moved twice. It's now in its permanent location. It will be married with an escalator on one side and a set of stairs that bring you down to the museum floor.
The Memorial Museum is scheduled for completion in 3 years. You should be able to visit by the middle of 2013.
One of the most incredible things about this project that the public has not been able to really see or experience because it's a construction site and they're isolated from it is just the size and beauty.
What's it like for you to be working here at Ground Zero?
I was with the Port Authority on 9/11. For me, it's not only a dream come true, it's just an honor.
I want to thank the Port Authority for giving us such incredible access, and Christopher Ward for taking time out of his schedule to be with us. Also, thanks to Brookfield Properties for letting us share with you this incredible animation. And I have to say, my executive producer, Ray Parisi, camera people, Maro Bertoli, Dave Corporon, editors, Vinnie Mariani, Marilyn Salloway. I mean, it was a real group effort getting this on the air because it's an incredible, site.
A huge feat, and you forget the size of that space and the scope of the undertaking. Especially, you were 14 stories below ground.
Well, yeah. Well, let me just tell you something. That National Memorial Park is twice the size of Bryant Park.
No
so that's just the Memorial Park.
Yeah.
It really is an incredible thing, and it gives you so much hope. And what I like about it, and I hope the families like about it, is that it's still sacred ground.
Yeah.
There's still something there to remind us of all the people that we lost and loved.
I really liked seeing the names of some of the victims chiseled into the granite, knowing that the victims are there with all the men and women who are working so hard to put this thing together.
And they said that they're really thinking about how they're putting together the names, that if there were brothers, like one was a fireman and one was a policeman, they're trying to put them in the same area so that it would be easy for the families to get to.
What an undertaking, even to do that alone. I want to know for you personally, you and I both covered the 9/11 attacks, as so many New Yorkers remember that day like it was yesterday. What was it like for you to be standing there?
You know what, that place, I have to tell you, when you go there, you feel something special.
Sure. Yeah. So many lives lost there. What in particular stood out for you?
Just, you know what? I was surprised about just how much work they did. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, for years, like you almost didn't want to look there because it just was such a terrible reminder. But then when you saw what was going on there, it brought you so much hope. And I think when all is said and done, it's going to be terrific. Yeah. It's going to be a great place for families to go to.
It's still hard to think about that day and talk about that day. There is something else that's hopeful coming out of it.
And I think that the people who work there also feel the same thing.
I mean, a real sense of pride.
It's a sense of pride. It's a sacred place. And right now, I think there's so much hope there that we should all be very encouraged by this.
You know, I want to hear about the survivor steps. I hadn't heard that term before, and perhaps you have. Those were the people who escaped.
Those were the people who, you know, ran for their lives out of the World Trade Center. This was what was left of that staircase. So that's going to be there. It's not usable, but it will be near an escalator and some steps, so you'll be able to see it firsthand. Also, one of the columns from the World Trade Center. A lot of the construction workers wrote, you know, encouraging things on that while they were down there in the recovery phase, and that is also part of the memorial. But tonight at 10 o'clock, we have even more exclusive video from inside the World Trade Center site, plus a first ever look into the future of the multi-billion-dollar World Trade Center Transit Hub. Now, this is crazy, this transit hub. It will change the way hundreds of thousands of people will get around New York, and you'll see it first tonight on Fox 5 News at 10 o'clock.
Fantastic, Rosanna. We really needed that to get a sense of perspective on exactly what's happening there.
And with 9 years since the attack coming up in September, it's amazing. Something is going on there.
Stay connected with myfoxny.com mobile. Download the iPhone app or text Fox 5 to 46988 for other devices. Local news, weather, and traffic on the go with myfoxny.com mobile.